It's the Awanachi conversations that count. I'm excited that you could join us for this week's podcast, and that is the Awanachi Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Mpunga Chipepo Simko. I'm excited because on the podcast today, I have an amazing lady who's doing a lot of amazing things around women's health, and this is none other than Margot, and please, there's a T on that name, Margot Ryan Bham. She is the founder of Bham, Birth and Beyond. Margot, welcome.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you here because I know this is going to be an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for making time to be a part of the Awanachi conversations.
No,
today.
thank you for inviting me. What a beautiful platform to empower other women out there.
Thank you so much, Margot. I always when I came across your name, I was trying to inquire, is it Margot? Is it Margot? But I was told it's Margot with a T.
Well, that has a story in
Please
its
share
own.
The story.
Right. I'm Irish by origin, right? And my mother was a very liberal, whatever woman. Her way was the way, right?
Yeah.
So in Ireland those days, we went to be baptized. So the priest asked her, "What's your daughter's name?" And she said, "Margot." And he says, can't be Margot. She said, "Why?" He said, "There's no Saint Margot. All the children baptized have to have a saint's name." So my mother turned to him and said, "That's okay, but she could be the first Saint Margot."
She knew what she wanted, right?
So they christened me Mary Margaret. But I've never been called Mary Margaret. I've always been called Margot. So recently I celebrated my birthday, and my son gave me a card. And on the card he says, Mary, Margaret, Cecilia, Munira, all my names, Maggie, but the most important one, Mom.
Oh, wow. So sweet. That was so sweet. Now, Margot, it's like I've said, it's really a joy to have you on the Awanachi Conversations. You are the founder of Bham, Birth and Beyond.
Yes.
That's the triple B.
The triple B,
yeah.
Yes.
Please share with us, what's the triple B?
Okay, so the triple B, the mission is that we support women's health, body and mind. We empower pregnancy. We empower having a good birth, and most important, we promote positive parenting. So we're all about the mother, her pregnancy, and the child, because the bump comes first, then the birth, and the beyond. So if we start with a good pregnancy, the child has a good foundation. If you have a good birth, that bonding is there. And if we have a good continuation after that, early learning, right? Support for the mother with breastfeeding, support for the mother postpartum, giving that mother support within her own group. And this is something that BBB has started. And sometimes I look and say, where did it come from? It has gone way out of my expectations. And it's like a little community. There's a woman recently who's a Welsh lady married to a Zambian, and her baby had to have an operation. And they were deciding, would they stay here or would they go back to the UK to get it done? And they decided to stay here because of the support she had. And all that support started through antenatal classes, through BBB. They even had a list of who was going to go and supply her food every day. So that is what BBB is about. It's about the bump, the birth, and the beyond.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Now, could you share with us, how was your journey setting up base in Zambia, and how has the brand or the company evolved over there? I think you did mention you've been here 11 years now.
20 years I've been in Zambia.
Oh, wow. That's even way more.
BBB is 11 years old.
Oh, okay. Now, just share with us, how was it like setting up base in Zambia? how was the feedback from the Zambian women?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me start with my nursing. I did my nursing in India. I grew up in Ireland. I've always looked after children. I was an au pair in Italy and in Switzerland and in America. And I've always had children around me. And then I said, I think I can do nursing. And what brought me to nursing is I got very sick. And I ended up in hospital for 6 months. And I had a disease which I would not wish on anybody, and that's anorexia nervosa.
Okay.
I would not wish that on my worst enemy. And a lot of girls suffer from it, and my heart goes out to them and to the family that's living with it. So when I was in the hospital, I kept saying, I think I could do a better job than them, because I was already going to university and I was studying hotel management. I wanted to travel, I wanted to see the world. And I said, no, I think I could make a better nurse than they can. I'm a bit more soft and easygoing. I have good conversations. I'm a good people person. And I've always, from young, I've always wanted to help children. And when at school, brought up in Ireland, it was a Catholic school, and the missionaries could come and tell us all about what work they were doing in Africa. Not Zambia per se, but in Africa. And I said, I wish I could go there one day. I wish I could go there. So when this opportunity came for me to do nursing in Ireland, I turned it down. I said, I don't want to go to Ireland. Right, I've already left home, let me go somewhere else. And I got an opportunity to go to India. It was an Irish-run hospital. They'll never take another foreigner again because they said one is enough, right? Okay. But what happened, it was very, very tough. I was treated like all the other nurses. We had dormitories. We had a bucket bath. So when the girls asked me one day, come, let's have a bath, where's your bucket? I said, what do I need a bucket for?
Yeah.
Right. And they kept saying, where's your bucket? Where? And I said, show me the bathroom. And then I realized what I needed the bucket for. So
Yeah.
I was mainly in maternity and in the neonatal. And those neonatals, the incubators, if we didn't put hot water inside, they didn't work.
Yeah.
And my ex-husband, who I was dating at that time, I went to visit him and I cried and I said, I can't do this anymore. And he said, why? I said, we had a small baby. And I said, as I was giving the knee injections, I could feel that needle going through the skin. Because those days, I'm going back more than 35 years ago.
Right.
Those days, the needles weren't disposable. We had to sharpen them on a puma stone. And that needle wasn't sharp enough. So he turned around and he said, are you doing it to hurt the baby or are you doing it to make the baby better? And I said, I'm doing it to make the baby better. He said, that should be your intention. And go and buy disposable needles and keep them in your pocket. And I've always been with that. So when we moved to South Africa, again, I was in the neonatal and I was in the maternity. And we moved to a small town in South Africa called Mafeking. And I became the unit manager for the pediatric ward and the neonatal. And I was getting a lot of sick babies coming in. And it was, I won't say ignorance. There's no ignorance. It was lack of knowledge. So I went to the matron and I said, I want to start antenatal classes. And she laughed at me and she said, Margot, you want the sickest baby so that machine is going. You want that. And now you want to teach. I said, I've always wanted to teach. So she said, okay, we'll give it a try. And here I am 32 years later, still doing the same. So my husband and myself, we moved to Zambia 20 years ago. And I was doing these classes from home. And I realized that, we need to make an establishment where people doesn't have to come all the way to McKinney. And I was very lucky. I found an Italian girl working here who was doing mom and baby classes. So I said to her, why don't we combine both of this? So it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Right. So she said, that's a good idea. And luckily, we found a place. And that's a story on its own because my first client here in Zambia for antenatal classes was Mumbasata.
Oh, wow.
Right. And I had no idea who she was. And I was going to her home, giving her classes, and we became very good friends. So when she had this premises in Rhodes Park and she was giving it up, I said, I need a place. So she said, take it. Go and speak to the landlord. And I got her premises that she had been renting. So everything, I always say, everything has a domino effect. So we started Bump, Birth and Beyond. It wasn't easy. And at that time, it was mainly expats that were coming because they realized the mom and baby classes. What is mom and baby classes? They realized what antenatal classes was. So as I went to hospitals, the midwives in the hospitals were very anti, and they said, you only teach. You don't check urine, you don't do that. I said, no, I only teach. And they said, no, you can't just teach as a midwife. I said, you know what? I'm making your job a lot easier because doctors nowadays don't have time to answer questions. And a pregnant mom, whether it's your first or your fifth, at the moment I have a lady who's expecting her fifth baby that's coming for exercise classes. And she says, I'm learning all the time. So that anxiety is there. And this is what BBB is all about, to give pregnant moms, new moms, older moms, a place where they can come, get reassurance. Even if it's breastfeeding, they might say, God, you breastfed 20 years ago. We're not coming to you. But they'll meet someone in the class that's breastfeeding at the same time they are doing it. So it was very challenging. Finance was a problem, so I had to fund it myself. And that was very challenging, especially during COVID. So we had to look at doing Zoom classes, making the classes smaller. I still continue doing my home visits because my home visits is a very big part of my support strategy. And I like to go and visit a mom in her home where she feels comfortable. I can easily say, come to me. But that doesn't give me an insight in how she's dealing at home. So we survived, and 10 years passed, and now we're into our 11th year.
Wow, an amazing journey. Now, Margot, could you just share with us what has been one of your most surprising lessons that you have learned in your journey as an entrepreneur around women's health?
With me, it's very easy because I deal with women. And women to women, we need to support each other. You know, a lot of people say women push each other down and whatever, but we have to support each other. So what surprises me day after day is the response I get. Because I've seen the need for what I do, and I see the results. And when someone comes and said, you know, Margot, you were in my head when I was in labor. I could hear you talking to me. And someone said the other day that you don't Google it anymore, you Margot it. And that, you know, what will we do if something, call Margot, she'll have the answer. So it surprises me every day how people trust me. And trust is very important, and I have to keep myself updated because you want the latest knowledge to give to these women. So helping people and to be motivated with the achievements that you have done. And sometimes you have days where you feel, I can't do this. And then you read a message that someone sent you. And I do a program on Radio Phoenix on a Thursday, Parenting 101. And that turned out that it was, the presenter was in my antenatal classes and said, I'll give you this opportunity. And one of the parents called in and he said, I came to you 11 years ago for classes. And we used to call the baby the textbook baby. And he said, I don't know whether my family was taking the mickey out of me or what. They'd always say, did you ask Margot first? Right. So this surprises me because I never thought I would have such an impact on people. And a good impact on people.
Positive
impact. A positive impact.
That's amazing. Now, how do you manage to stay resilient and positive in the face of challenges? I say so because, like we all know, success is we all want to be successful, but we know that getting to that point you describe as success is a process. There's failure, there are challenges, there are moments we want to give up. But how do you stay resilient and positive in the face of challenges?
First of all, you have to ask yourself, what is your success? What do you want to achieve? What does success look like to me? And I've been asked this question by some of my friends. You know, you're still struggling. You don't own your own house. And I said, that doesn't matter. There's people of my age that spends whatever money they earned on medicine, on this and that. I said, I'm 60, I'm healthy, I have no blood pressure, no diabetes, I'm fit to go. So I said, God has blessed me. Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me in such a way that I'm able to give back to that. So one is knowing that what I'm doing is helping people, and knowing that I have the support of my 2 sons. That's very important to me. And at one stage I was ready to give up, and my eldest son said to me, Ma, if you give up, everything you've taught me has gone out the window.
Oh, wow.
You've always told me, get up and face your challenge no matter what the outcome, and use it as a learning curve. And he said, that's how I live. And if you turn around now and walk away, you're not doing what you say you do. And to me, that was an eye-opener. So every challenge you face is a learning lesson. We learn by our success. We learn by our failures. And we also have to be surrounded by people that inspire us, that think the same as us, and that are positive. And we cannot take what we do for granted. We have to be there with change. Like, I'm not on social media. BBB is on, so I'm not. But during COVID, let's do Zoom. Let's do these classes. And now I have even clients that have called from Ethiopia, and I've done antenatal classes on Zoom with them. I have people in the Copper Belt that I do classes with. So again, opening your mind to the changes that are going around.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you have faced challenges of, particularly on the triple B. I'll call it triple B for now.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur, what are the challenges you have faced as a female entrepreneur, and how have you overcome those challenges?
Okay. Lucky for me, I deal with a lot of women. So I really, and it's a woman's world, women to women. So I don't really face those challenges per se. But challenges as an entrepreneur itself is, I want BBB to expand. We have done 3 outreach programs in Katete for World Vision on early learning, and I'm big into early learning. And I'd love to see those programs go to all the provinces in Zambia. I'd love to be able to do the doula program where I can only speak English. So only a certain amount of people can I teach. But I'd love to be able to teach other midwives, other lay people, to go down to the grassroots and tell them how important breastfeeding is, how good breastfeeding is, how important exercise is in pregnancy. And that would be a big challenge that I have, my language, right? To be able to spread that knowledge to others so they could spread it to others, have that ripple effect.
Okay, now, as founder of Triple B, how do you see your role evolving in the next 3 to 5 years, both at a personal and professional level?
Okay. Personal level, I really don't have a personal life, right? I work 7 days a week. I love what I do, and that's a big problem. Because if someone calls me, I'm there. You have a problem with breastfeeding, the baby is jaundiced, I'm there. So where do I see myself in a professional level? That's much easier for me to answer. And I'd love to be an advocate or an ambassador. And here in Zambia, we are very lucky that we get the nursing hour when moms go back to work. So they can either take an hour off in the morning, come in an hour late or an extra hour for lunch. But I'd love to be an advocate to move that further, to make sure that the workplaces have an office or a room where that mother can express her milk. Because at the moment, a lot of our moms out there, and remember, we have 51% of the Zambian workforce are women, and out of that, 45% are reproductive age. So every institute you go, you will find pregnant women. But why should that pregnant woman, or now, breastfeeding woman, why should she express in the bathroom? Why do we eat in the bathroom? No. Why should she express in the bathroom? So this is where I want to make an important move, is to make sure that that woman, when she goes back to work, she doesn't have to express in the bathroom, that it's written there that we have to provide her with a safe environment to express. And that is something that's very close to my heart. Another thing is a milk bank. You know, like how you have blood banks, to have a milk bank so women can donate their breast milk. A lot of women here, unfortunately, lose their babies in childbirth, but they have breast milk. So they would like to donate that to a baby who might have lost the mom, or the mom may not be able to breastfeed. And I would love to start off with a milk bank like that. Also, as I said earlier, to make sure that we can get these early childhood development programs in all the provinces, and the doula program or the pregnancy education in all the provinces. So I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. I like the concept of the milk bank. Never thought of
Yes.
that. But definitely something that could save a life. Now, you did mention the fact that you're very busy. You're passionate about what you do, but I know that you are a mother. So how does self-care look like for you? And do you have any hobbies at all, seeing that you mentioned how busy you are? I say so because in a world where we are so busy and we can be on the go, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, and I can imagine how many women call you in a day to just say, I need help with this, I need help. How do you still find the space to take care of Margot with a T?
Okay, yes, with a T. It's very strange you asked me that question, and I always go back to one of the girls in the class. She was a beautician, and it was a month she was coming for class where I was really busy. And I have gray hair, I dye it, right? So that month I didn't get time to dye the hair. And when she gave birth, I went to visit her, and she looked at me and she said, that's how you should look. We are looking at you for 4 hours every Saturday, and we don't want to look at you like that. So I make a point that I look good. I put some jewelry on. Sometimes I don't wear jewelry. But that Saturday when I'm doing my class, I make sure I make an effort, right? Because as she said, we are looking at you. And as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, you sell yourself, and always first impressions. And we live in a world where looks are important. We can't all be beautiful, but what you've got, don't let it go. This is what we got. Use it to the best of your ability. So to me, my self-care is important. I do lots of exercise. I walk a lot. I do the pregnancy exercise, and sometimes I feel I need the relaxation part of it more than they do. Sometimes I fall asleep given it. But that's what it's all about. And spending a lot of time with positive people around you. I have no family in Zambia. My family is all in Ireland, and my 2 sons are in South Africa. So I try to spend as much time as I can with them. We chat every day, and that is important to me. And also keeping up with studies. I do a lot of studies. I do a lot of online courses and whatever to keep my fingers going, to make sure I know what's happening out there.
Okay. Now, we always emphasize or like to appreciate the role of mentorship in our lives. Are there women that you look up to that have mentored or inspired you in your journey on Triple B?
Okay. Number one is my mom.
Amazing.
My mom was always there. When I wanted to do my nursing, my dad said, no, you're not going to leave the country to do something you can do in this country. And my mom went back to work, and all the money she earned, she sent to me. And I'm talking about 30-something years ago. There was no bank cards and whatever. So from Ireland, she had to put the money into the bank account in Jersey. From Jersey, I had a checkbook. So I had to withdraw that money, put it in the bank account in India, and withdraw. No cards, no auto banks. So I've always looked at my mom for my strength. And even today, I'm sitting here with her pearls. Whenever I do something important, even on my son's wedding, when she died, she came to South Africa to see me on Mother's Day. And it was the first time we'd been together on Mother's Day for 16 years. And she died 2 months later. And in her bag, she had some rands. So my brother said, they're yours. What are we going to do with that? And I always wanted a set of pearls. So from that money, I put her name on the envelope and I went and bought the pearls. So she's always with me. And I talk to her a lot. She always wanted to travel when she never got the chance. So she's always with me. So she was the first person that motivated me to do what you want. Go and do what you want. The other lady that motivated me in a very negative way was our principal at school, because I'm very dyslexic. And she kept saying, you'll make nothing of yourself. And she wanted to put me in a slow class. And I went into a slow class and I was very rebellious. And the next year she put me, instead of into first year, she put me into second year. And I went to the teachers and I said to them, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. And they said, we're here to help you. So I was too dumb in her mind to continue with my friends. But that next year, she put me into the same class with my friends. And I proved to her. So sometimes negativity can motivate you. But even now, with whatever success, I always sit and say, have I proven to her that I was worth their chance? And I think we have to believe in ourselves. I could have sat down and said, I'm not going to finish school. I could have sat down and said, I had my dyslexia, I had my anorexia, this is going to stop me. It didn't. It motivated me more, because all people have some disability. And we mustn't overlook it. We must say, what are their strengths? And let's work on the strengths. And I think this is why I love working with children, to motivate them in the strengths that they have, to motivate mothers out there that they can be the best mother they can be. They don't have to step into their mother's shoes. The best mother they can be. To have the best father they can be. And BBB is not just about women. It's about men also, getting the best father there. And we had a man who came recently.
I was going to ask, do you have
I love the men.
You have the men.
I love the men. And lately I've been getting a lot more men, which is brilliant. Because men are changing now. So this man was passing by the window and he said, do I really have to be here? 4 hours. Today is Saturday. I could be watching soccer. And he came in and he saw his friends sitting there. So he relaxed. Do you know he has come and paid for 5 of his friends to come for classes? He said, I'm not buying baby clothes. I'm not buying nappies. I'm buying them education.
Oh, wow. That's
because
amazing.
He said, this has changed me and I've become a better father because of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
so that motivates you, that keeps you going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what message would you have, for aspiring female entrepreneurs who look up to you? Because I can imagine you're in contact with so many women and so many families. It's encouraging to know that the men are coming to the party. But what would be your word of encouragement to an aspiring female entrepreneur?
Number one, follow your dreams, but do research, because sometimes we think that no one is doing it, it's not going to work. But no one is doing it because they haven't come up with that idea. So follow your dreams, come up with what you want, and make sure it's not a dream, but it's also your passion. And when you go surround yourself with positive people, be open-minded and be true to yourself. Be always true to yourself, because that will stand to you at the end of the day. And also, make sure that you know what you believe as success. What do you want out of this venture? Do you want to help others? Do you want to buy a car? Do you want to whatever it is? Note in yourself what you want out of this venture. And also lessons. Every day we are having lessons. If you fail, it's a lesson. If it's a positivity in your life, it's a lesson. And be open-minded, because as humans, we evolve. What I did 11 years ago, I'm not doing now. What I did 20, and maybe what I'll be doing 10 years from now, I'll be saying, why did I do that then? We are evolving. So don't give up on your dreams, and surround yourself with positive people. Believe in whatever religion you believe in. There's always a God up there that guides you, and ask him to bless you. Right? I'm a revert, I'm a Muslim, so I sit down and I say, my hands are your hands. My voice is your hand. Let me be you. You can't be here today, so let me spread your word. And that's what it's all about. Being true to yourself and be true to who you are, and find that little niche, because that's what makes us entrepreneurs. If we follow everybody else, that's copy and paste. We don't want that. We want to be original.
Yeah.
So go out there and, whatever defects you have, let them work for you, because they are your defects or they're your disabilities, and they make you into the person you are. God made you the way you are. If you're given a lemon, make lemonade or make a char, whatever you want, but do the best you can.
Absolutely. Now, where do we see BBB in the next 5 years? Where are we? What are our plans?
As I said, I want to expand, and that could be expansion to Indola or to ever in a private sector. But I'd rather it to expand where BBB are teaching in the rural areas, and that's what I'd really love.
The rural areas.
The rural areas, yeah.
Okay.
I have that missionary in me is coming out. That saint is coming out. Yeah, that's what I'd love to do. And I know it's possible because we've done it. But we just need funding and people to believe in what we believe in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Margot, it's been such a joy having you on the Awanachi Conversations. A lot of work that you're doing, the area of maternal health, very important, women's health, very important. And we've heard amazing stories of women that have been through your premises and how it has impacted their lives. So we just continue to pray for God's blessings in all that you do. And we pray that you continue to make a difference in the lives of the women and the children. That come under your care. I had to put the children, of
and
course.
The men. And the men.
Yeah, the men are coming into
the fathers,
picture now.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being part of the podcast today.
No, thank you. It's my pleasure. And thanks again for inviting me.
You're most welcome. Okay, so I've been talking to Margot. She is the founder of Birth.
The bump comes from.
Sorry. Let me get that right. She is the founder of Bham, Birth and Beyond, an offering that focuses on just preparing women before pregnancy, during and after, and of course taking care of that baby when it is born. I sure hope you've learned one or two things from the conversation today, and we look forward to you joining us on the next one. I've been your host, Mpungash Pepo Simkwai. It's goodbye and God bless you.